Robert, can you just walk us through that? What ultimately led to pulling the trigger on Dalvin?
Like I said, I think it was more, from their camp, just trying to cross their T's, dot their I's, and go through their process and making the best decision for their family as possible. Obviously, very excited to add a really, really good football player to this team, and he adds another dynamic to this group that I think anybody would be excited about.
Robert, he obviously has some off-the-field stuff that he's been dealing with. How much? Obviously, you guys are vetting that stuff. What made you comfortable with that?
For him, I'm not going to go into the detail. Obviously, the conversations we had and the depth at which we researched everything, I think we all came to agreement that we were very comfortable with the person and his situation.
With Dalvin, what's his timeline in terms of arrival and being able to practice, and what do you see his role as being?
I don't have that answer for you yet, Rich. I know it's going to be at least a week. So I know he's having the baby, which we're all excited for him on, but it's just a matter of getting on the phone with him today and getting him in here and just having those conversations to see where he's at.
You know he's a dynamic player. What's he going to do for this team?
There's a lot, man. When you kind of, as a coach, as a defensive coach, I'll just sit there and just say, God, you got Breece and Michael and him, and you got two of those guys in the backfield, and it's, you just got there's a lot of different things that you can do to create a bunch of headaches for defensive coaches, and then he's not a trick back either. You can turn around, hand him the ball, and he can run downhill, and he's done it for a long time, and so it's just I look at it like our D-line. Can never have enough, and just let them rotate and be fresh and get downhill and wear people out.
Robert, what did it mean to get Breece back out there, and what's like the ramp up going to look like for him?
So we're going to take our time with him, like I've said from the beginning. If you ask him, he's ready to go now, and he's chomping at the bit, wants to get in there with his teammates. But to have him back out there in pads, and man, he looks freaking good. Just his size, kind of like Jermaine Johnson, and just the way they've kind of morphed their bodies, and he looks explosive, he looks powerful, and so we'll get him in, we'll ease him in, but right now it's just acclimation.
How do you feel about his chances for being ready for Week 1? And does Dalvin's presence now afford you the possibility of just sitting Breece until he's totally comfortable?
Yeah, Dalvin's presence doesn't change Breece's timeline. We're very comfortable with where Breece is at, very confident that he'll be ready for Week 1. I've said it, he looks awesome. He really does. And our plan for him has been very deliberate in making sure that we're protecting him from him and making sure that he's 150% ready to roll. And but as far as Breece goes and his preparation from Week 1, we're still anticipating that, and his timeline has not changed with the arrival of Dalvin.
Robert, you guys all know, obviously, it's a business. Everybody here does. But when you bring a guy like Dalvin in, you've got a pretty full running back room right now. Is that something you or the position coach discuss potential roles and whatnot when you bring a guy like that in with these guys?
Yes, nothing we've done isn't without a plan. Even when we talked to Dalvin when he was here, just mapping out our vision of how this running back room would look, talking with Joe and his staff and what our vision would be for Dalvin and Breece and Michael and Bam and Izzy, and just how that thing maps out, Crockett and Dye, and just how that room's going to shake out. So we have a plan in place. I think expressing that plan to the players was very, very important to make sure that everybody was on board, and just always being transparent. So we'll always be transparent with the players, transparent with everybody, and I think everyone was pretty comfortable with it, and we're rolling. So.